so excited hearing that music. Welcome to CCS Consulting with Marissa. I have with me this morning some co-hosts that are so amazing. And we're going to talk to you today about the heart of our leaders. Taking center stage and owning it with me is Dr. Madeline Lewis,
Hello, hello.
Jacqueline LuLu Brown,
Hey there.
and I can't wait to say it, soon to be Dr. Robin Hughes.
Hello,
It's
everyone.
awesome. Yes, yes, I'm so excited. This is all about leadership development, organizational development. And this month, we're talking all month long about leadership in the heart of our leaders. And so we're going to have a roundtable discussion about this topic, what it means to us individually, and some of our insight, and hopefully some of our words to inspire leaders as well as their followers, not just leaders, but when a leader shows up, it's so important for their subordinates, their followers, to honor them showing up with heart. And that hit me this morning, was like, and I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it's not just about the leader's heart. It's also about recognizing when leaders really have a heart for their people, and their people recognizing that, valuing it, and showing up for them. And so, Dr. Lewis, I'm going to start with you. You're at the top with me. Share a little bit about leadership in the heart of our leaders and why it's important for them. Let everyone know a little bit about your background, why it's important for our leaders to show up strong in heart in our organizations.
Wow, good question. Well, first of all, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, and I'm the president and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. So, what I do is help women to get into upper management or executive leadership positions. So, when you talk about leadership, that is something that's really on the forefront of what I do. And I think leaders have to show up strong because they are the examples to those that are coming up behind them. They're the examples to the younger people today who need to understand how leadership works. But also, too, as a leader, you have to understand that just because you're in that position does not mean you own the position. You have to learn how to pull others up into that position too. I learned a long time ago, someone said to me that when you're in a position and someone is coming up behind you, you should, show them and train them so that they could take that position. So don't ever feel like that, intimidated because someone good is coming up behind you. Nurture them, just embrace them and challenge them so that they can step into your shoes. That is to me the picture of a good leader and a strong leader.
Yes, and it's so important because, you know, I can remember, being in corporate,
Mhm.
et cetera. Subordinates don't know that they don't know about career development wasn't really talked about in mainstream, back in the late 80s, early 90s. It wasn't. You just had someone that saw someone and said, I want to help you, and they
Yeah.
brought them up. But if you were that one that didn't have someone see you,
Mhm.
and say, hey, this is how you do it, you don't know how to move up the ladder, so to speak. And that needs to change because organizations are missing out on some powerful, high performers that are quietly performing well. But
Yes.
if you recognize them, if you take the time to do that needs analysis, right? Skill sets,
Absolutely.
looking at your skills inventory and saying who's doing what and who's showing up where. My God, as a leader, you would excel yourself. When your people excel, they're pushing you up. Come on, leaders now. So
Yes.
I'm gonna go to Robin, and Robin, share a little bit about who you are, what you bring to the table, and let people know about your position on leadership and heart.
Oh, thank you, Marissa. Glad to be here this morning. My name is Robin Hughes. I am actually, as Marissa said, I'm working on finishing up the PhD, and that's been a lot of work. Also am working on a venture right now, business venture, looking at a entrepreneur academy. So that's in the works right now. And I've teamed up with some people to do that. So we'll have more to come on that. And still doing HR consulting, the MBE certification, as I always tell everyone, that's part of what's going to be offered in the academy, because we can take those contracts that we get from corporations, whether they be government funded or private or public funded, those contracts that help us grow our revenue. So it's very important. They have over 1,400 corporate members once you're nationally certified that you have the possibility of working with. And most people say, oh, I had a young lady say, I have a hair salon or I'm a nail tech. What does that have to do? Well, people know people. At the end of the day, that corporation may not be able to utilize your services. But I had someone from Texas Energy I was talking with, and she said, even though I couldn't use the MBE services, I referred to someone else, and they utilized those services. So that's very, very important to get that and be able to have that other network that you can work with to be able to possibly bring in some more revenues. I had someone contact me from Michigan. And of course, I reside in Dallas. So I was surprised they did a mixer, and that's how they found me. So that's just something to think about with the MBE certification part. When it comes to leadership, I had to agree totally with Dr. Madeline. I say all of the time, in order to be a leader, in order to lead, you need to lead from the heart. Mm-hmm. People will follow you if you're doing the right thing. One of the things I always do anytime I'm working with a corporation, I actually put it in their performance evaluations that part of their steps are they have to end up trying to find at least one or two of their direct reports that can fill their shoes when their opportunity for promotion comes, so we can hire from within. So I always challenge them with that. Every place I've worked with, I always put it in the performance evaluation and look at it and say, hey, if you don't know how to do it, we're going to teach you how to develop your people. So when you get ready to move, that person is going to take my job. Because if I'm not, that's what a lot of people end up doing. And I say, when you get to that point, sometimes it's not true leadership. A true leader is not going to worry about that. They want people to reach their highest potential. I know I always say I'm trying to get people to reach the full potential. So in order to do that, you have to take your emotions out of the equation. You have to really want to develop people. And a lot of that comes from the heart. That really comes from the heart, wanting to help people and get them to be able to advance as well. And if it means them moving to another company, you being a bigger person, being a big enough person, a great leader to say, I'm glad you did so well with me. I'm not going to be selfish. And I specifically told a young lady this. I'm not going to be selfish. I said, yeah, the selfish part of me says, yes, please don't go. Because then you got to go and train somebody else and see if they could do as well as they did. But the most important thing is you were able to train them so they can leave if they need to and be able to advance if there are no advancement opportunities there.
Yes. That's so important. And that's called, for those people who are not familiar with the term, it's called succession planning. You're planning, you're training up. So God forbid, if anything happens to you, there's someone in your department that can take your position immediately so that the organization does not miss a beat. And succession planning should not be isolated to the C-suite level. It needs to be on all levels, because anyone in a leadership position, once they're gone, if no one knows what they were doing, then the company suffers. The performance of the company, how it shows up, its customer service, because guess what? If it's not showing up in somewhere, then the whole organization as a systematic process is interrupted. That system is interrupted, and then it has to get back together. It needs recoup time. When you're recouping, you're losing. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So that's what this particular show is really all about. It's about bringing normality, bringing the commonality that needs to take place in organizations. That's what these discussions are all about, because the everyday Joe Schmo does not know about succession planning. They don't know about LMX. They don't understand about work, employee motivation and how that's affected by leadership. These are all, things that are going on. Everyone knows that they're going on, but no one knows how to cap it or how to address it. And so it is my hope that enough people begin to hear these shows and they get that aha moment that says, oh my God, this is what's been happening. And this is the easy fix, because really, honestly, it's not that difficult. Just like Robin said, show up. If you are really doing the right thing and you are really leading from the heart, there is no threat. If our leaders have the confidence in knowing who they are and what they bring to the table, they're not worried about anybody else. There is true, and what LuLu and I always talk about, authenticity. And when you are truly working in your genius, right? Can't nobody take that from you, leader. Can't nobody take that from you. And so you don't have to be threatened. And if we could get to that place of, being true to our own selves, then organizations will do phenomenal. I sit back and I say to myself, you're making it complicated when it's simple. It's really simple. So we're going to move over to, and I just like I said, it's all about succession planning. And I say this as well, is we look at leadership from the directorship and up, right? We look at leaders like, leaders because they're directors. No, supervisors, team leads, managers are all leaders. If you got one person that has to listen to you on a job, you are a leader. You are leading them. And we need you to have that mindset, like we talked about in January. We need you to have the mindset that you are a leader. We need you to own that position and start leading intentionally and strategically for yourself, as well as the people that God has called you on the job or in any organization to serve. We need you to think like that. Because when you think like that, we can all grow. We can all tap into, unleash our unlimited potential. And when we do that, we are living our fulfilling life. We are happy. Because back in the day, remember, I know for me, when I was younger, people stayed on their job for 30 years. Why? Because they were proud of their jobs. They wanted to go to the birthday parties, to the weddings, to any event, go out drinking with friends, partying hardy. And they wanted to talk about what? The job they worked at. When I first worked at AT&T, I was proud to say, when somebody asked me, where you work? AT&T, Bell Laboratories, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, girl, who you is, right? Today, we have an attitude of, well, there's no job security, so I'm not gonna. Well, that is something organizations need to confront. They need to understand that the reason why you're not doing well, our economy is not doing well, is because the people are not doing well. There's no commitment. So LuLu, I want to jump to you, because then we're going to go circle back around, because this is getting good. I don't know about you guys, but this is good. It's speaking to and from the heart. LuLu, you are up. Share with the people about who you are so they can get to know you, and then also, too, about your position on leadership in the heart.
All right. Well, just honoring you ladies here, because we are all on the same page. And all of our businesses complement one another. And I'm, as you said, I'm fondly known as LuLu, but I'm Jacqueline LuLu Brown, and I'm the founder and CEO of Revolution Ascension. People say, well, what is that? It is exactly what it says. It is a consulting as well as coaching firm that helps women to ascend to their highest level in their careers, in their jobs, remaining authentic, navigating the waters, and actually excelling above and beyond so that they contribute to shareholder value. so that they bring along those people that are coming along. And I want to tap on one thing that I heard is when you talk about strategic. And it is really important for the leader to actually lead like the CEO, not be in the little box. Because see, when you think like a CEO and when you are thinking strategically, not just what your raise is going to be and what your bonus is going to be, but when you have shareholder value, when you know that your goals and your objectives and that succession planning is all tied to shareholder value. What are the goals of the company? Because that's who the CEO answers to, the board of directors, and they're all about shareholder value. So when leaders are leading, they have to have that heart that this company is mine, and I have to make sure that I am staffing so that it grows. And the best leader is the leader that leads themselves out of a job. That's the best leader, because that leader now is ready to go on to the next phase. But when people are in boxes and they're only concerned about their group, yeah, your group may get maybe a fairly decent rating, and you may get a little piece of the pie. But when you are in a box and it's all about you and your team, there are limitations. When everyone is about the corporation succeeding as a whole. So my peer over here is struggling. They have an issue on their team. What talent is on my team that I can give to that team? Not that I'm losing anything, because guess what? I gain. Because when I give my talent to solve my peer's issue, that's going to reciprocate back and forth. And what happens? Everybody wins. And then there's a bigger piece of the pie for everyone to be rewarded with. So that making sure that one, we're growing people, and that succession planning is, I don't think we can talk about that enough, Marissa, because there is an art to it. There really is. It is just not checking the boxes. There's two things in corporations, and I'm going to sound a little critical, but this is the honest to God's truth. And I hope a leader really does understand this. There are two things that we sort of check the boxes on. One is diversity, and the second one is succession plan. Oh, let me get my succession plan. Check, check, check. Yep, I got one, and you move on. Or let me look and see. I have one of these, two of those, and three of these. Diversity is done. Without understanding that true diversity that delivers that shareholder value and increases revenue is not necessarily based on culture. It's based on the diversity of mindset. It's based on the diversity of the way that people think, how they process information. Everyone doesn't learn the same. Everyone, that's why we have things like personanalysis and all these Myers-Briggs, all these different assessments, because people learn differently, they talk differently, they speak, and they have the capability to succeed differently. And when we understand all of those factors and we pull all of that in without them losing who they are at their core, because to unveil and find the genius, you have to get them authentic. You cannot give them somebody's book. And now I'm going to give my age away, way back in the day with Jack Welch and GE. And who did not receive Jack Welch's book from your boss and said, read this book, because this is your mirror. This is your roadmap. And I think things work for a point in time, or they help. But we are in a world today that to find the genius is to find who the individual is at their core. And then you take that very authentic part, and then you take and allow that to lead all of their intellect. And everyone is bringing something to the table, opposed to us having kind of little clones walking around. And I don't know if anyone remembers, but they used to have the little pyramid. And they said when you were down here, here was all the diversity. All the diversity was down here, where there was no titles. And the further up you went, those 360-degree feedback, Someone was telling you, well, you know what? Now you got to change this, change that. And all of a sudden, the diversity and the individuality gets a little smaller. Why? Because we forget that while we are coaching and while we are empowering, we cannot lose the authenticity. But what we do is we teach how to navigate and how to pull others along so that you have a successful organization. And that is just so important. One more thing, this work-life balance. Work-life balance, I disagree with a lot of my peers in the industry. There is no such thing because all things cannot be spread out equal. And as women, we have killed ourselves over the years with work-life balance. But when you integrate, when we help our employees to integrate their lives, to have programs within our corporations that do not send you on a path of balancing your children, your husband, your work life, your activities, but how about integrating? And when we integrate families and the passions that employees love, what they really care about, you have employees that have influence without authority, they have leadership, they soar, and you have a profitable corporation.
Yep. Yep. And I so agree with you with that integration piece because I remember working at AT&T. If I needed to go and pick up my kids, I was able to bring them back with me. I worked with scientists, so sometimes the scientists would let them come and they would take them on a tour and things like that. But they were allowed to be integrated. When it came to Christmas, they were allowed to come and be a part of it. There were different programs that AT&T was offering, and the kids could come because it was career associated. Take your daughter to work day. Now take your child to work day. But these things were there. Also, too, LuLu, back in the day, you had real training and development, right? One
Yes.
thing was sure, you had true training and development. You went to a course, not online, because even though online learning is, I can't bash it because that's where I got my degrees. But at the same token, if someone is not disciplined, you still need that in person thing. You still need that in person, some level of in person instruction because there's something that happens when you're in the room. What is that? Hamilton says, I want to be in the room where it happens. You want to be in the room where it happens, where the energy is there, where exchange can take place and continue dialogue. You're not assuming what the text is saying because the person is right there to explain it to you. And so back in the days, companies believed in investing enough in their people to pay for training and real training and development. So much to the point where AT&T had its own AT&T School of Business. And that's where you went for your training and development. That's where I went. It is the result of my experience in corporate America that gives me the audacity to think I could do a show like this. That training and development is so critical. And I want to go back to where you talked about cloning. And unfortunately, our millennials have been cloned to death, unfortunately. If you want to talk about cloning, all they look at is the data. But there's people that are associated with that data that are so complex that you can't capture the real essence of the data without going. And we can go into emotional intelligence, right? Knowing that there's something going on with people mentally, emotionally, and it's situational. So you cannot clone. While data has its place, it's not an absolute. And so cloning, yeah, you are so right in the diversity. And diversity does not necessarily come from diversity and ethnicity. It comes from diversity of mindset and open-mindedness. So I want to talk about. We're doing good with time. I want to talk about our hearts as leaders. Each one of us are doing different things. We're all CEOs of our own companies. and we're all doing different things. And I want to share a little bit about the heart behind what you're doing right now. So, Dr. Lewis, you are doing a retreat for women in the DMV area. Could you share why? So, as we were talking, it was like, and we talked backstage, then I said, I really want you to talk to the people about what we're doing, because what we're doing comes from the heart. So, could you share what was on your heart, and what gave you the desire to move forward in what you're doing and what you're about to discuss, and share with people how they can connect and possibly come and hang out with you?
Okay. Well, first of all, the title of the retreat is Show Up to Rise Up. It's the Show Up to Rise Up Women's Retreat. And I just have to say something connected to what Elder Jacqueline said about the young people and cloning too. The younger generation, they think differently. I mean, they're for one thing, they don't have as much patience. Like you were talking about how we stayed on a job or 30 years and all of that. They don't have that kind of patience. So you can't think that they're gonna have that same mindset as you have about the stability thing. Because if they I've seen where if they don't get the promotion they want, they're out of there. They will leave in a New York second. It's just that because they don't feel that sometimes they don't feel that loyalty or that discipline, of being there. I don't have to stay here. I could go somewhere else where I'm appreciated. So to get back to the retreat, it's the Show Up to Rise Up Women's Retreat, and it's taking place at Lake Anna, Virginia. And I put the retreat together. Believe it or not, it's not going to be any speakers where you got to sit there all day and listen to speakers. It's not that. I want women to come to relax, to rewind, and just release. Just take a break. Like you were talking about having that mindset, getting back to thinking about some of the things that they need to focus on, but mainly focusing on themselves, because for the last several years, our minds have just been so, I don't know, congested or just all over the place. There's the stress, there's the concern, there's the panic, there's the depression, there's all these things that especially women have had to cope with, being at home all day with the husband, being at home all day with the kids, so some of that, they need to release some of that and just get away and just say, hey, this is just for me. This weekend is for me. And I was telling them, I said, hey, come unplug your phone. If they can't find it in those couple of days that you're there, then they can wait until you get back home and you can show them where it is. But it's basically just it was just on my heart to do that, because I've seen some of the women that are they've just been like, I'm just so tired. I just need a break. And that's what this is all about. We're just gonna have fun. Believe it or not, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have movie night. We're gonna eat popcorn. We're gonna have a fashion show, pajama fashion show. I mean, we're just gonna just have fun. This is what this retreat is all about. So don't think you need to come with your pen and your pad, because you're gonna be sitting there all day listening to so and so tell you how to do such and such. No. If you in that weekend, if they have something that they want to release, they're going to have women around them supporting them so that they can, if that's what they want to do. But you're just there for you. That's what you're there for. That's what it's all about this weekend. And so anyone that in the retreat, then they can email me at info@exwsi.com, and I'll send them the link so that if they want to register, they can. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I think that's exactly the season that we're in, a season of refreshing, rejuvenating, doing the you work, me work.
Yes.
I think that that's where, because I'm telling you, that's where each time I meet with my team and everything, I keep telling them, I'm coming out doing Beyonce moves. We are gonna have so much fun here. So I am feeling the same way. So please reach out to Dr. Lewis and get connected. That's in the DMV area. What part of
It's Lake Anna, Virginia. It's really the actual name is Bumpus, Virginia. It's in Bumpus, Virginia. But it's
nice.
lake, beautiful setting, nice and tranquil. If you know how to do boats, you can go for a boat ride or whatever. I mean, but it's just relaxing, just to, like I said, relax, release, and rewind that whole entire time.
Wow. So that is awesome. And LuLu, you are up. Share with the people what you're getting ready to do, your heart behind it. What drives us to do this? Because even though it's fun for us, it's still work. And even though we enjoy it, it still takes a lot out of us. And so share from your heart.
Passion and purpose. Passion and purpose. Knowing your genius zone. Knowing it's okay to be a little crazy. Crazy and insane are not the same thing. Got to go back years and years in the etymology and the dictionary to find that, because somewhere along the line it got merged together. But that passion and your purpose, and when you have that, and when you can help someone else discover that and see their life soar, there's no greater reward. You can't put a price tag on that. And I remember being at the University of Virginia School of Darden, and I'm sure Dr. Madeline is familiar with this. This is where they send all of your C-suites for 2 weeks, and you get whatever your hierarchy is, but it's one of those burnout things where your morning, noon, night, after dinner, it's like for 14 days, they're cramming you to get those leadership certificates. And in that class, you had to go to the front of the class and you had to do 2 things. You had to describe what you do in your role currently and why you were there. And then you had to describe who and what you were outside of your career. And as I stood there, and I'm not watching myself, but I'm watching the people look at me, and expressions started changing when I began to describe what it was that I did outside of my career. And I'm standing there thinking that I said something wrong. And they looked at me, and collectively, this big auditorium of people said, "You're in the wrong field. You're showing up in excellence," because I'm in technology and engineering. Excellence. Okay, how hard is that? Educated, you're smart, you're doing a good job. But they said, your whole body language, the countenance of your face, the pitch of your voice, everything changed when you talked about what you did outside your job. And guess what that was? What I'm doing now. I work full time, and what I do right now is what I was doing back then. I was doing it in ministry. I was doing it in mentorship, mentoring women, in coaching. It wasn't a business for me. And that in that place is where I found that's my genius zone right there. The technology, that wasn't my genius zone. Empowering women for their purpose and their passion, that was my genius zone. And so that's what it's really all about. And in Revolution Ascension, and people say, well, why does it say revolution? Why do you use the words radical? Because sometimes we have to take a revolutionary and a radical move to break out of the box that we have been put in.
Yes.
We're so quick to say, I'm not in a box. You ask women, who in here thinks they're in a box? Nobody raises their hand because everyone is so proud, like, oh, I'm not in a box. I'm authentic. If you're not doing what you really love to do, you ain't being authentic, because authenticity will bring you to a place that you can't breathe without doing what it is that you love to do, what your passion and your purpose is. So these retreats, and I love what Dr. Madeline is doing, because I believe that we have to take women on these retreats, and they have to be able to step away and have something other than, like you said, a bunch of people telling them how to get to the next level. We have to talk about matters of the soul and not be ashamed of who we are. You know, as women, we can be faith-based women, and I don't care. You can be Catholic, you can be Jewish, you can be Baptist, Protestant, whatever. We will sit there and no one will ever know, because we feel that we're supposed to sit here and we're supposed to look like these clones and put on that starch white shirt and sit there, and no one's supposed to know anything about who we are other than what we're doing in our job performance.
Yes.
And we're cheating people from all of that gifting that we have on the inside, because we have not been taught to be authentic, be comfortable with who you are, and be comfortable speaking up and not be ashamed, especially as a woman of color.
Yes.
Do not go and sit at the last seat down in the back of the room. How is the CIO going to know who you are?
Yes.
Be the first one to give your presentation. And don't let anyone tell you, oh, you know what? They complain about you because you always give the good news first. But they don't tell your male counterpart, because he gets up there and brags and, oh, you know, they talk about the game and they make sure they get right next to that person so they can start chit-chatting before the meeting and they can smooth the ice. We're not taught those types of things.
Absolutely.
We are naturally givers, and we have these wonderful, caring, nurturing personalities. Not to mention science. Women can transfer through both hemispheres of their brain at the same time. That's not a made-up thing about multitasking. Women multitask better. There's science behind that. And so when we know thyself, when we know who we are as the female, as the feminine and the divine that was put down in there. And now, don't get me wrong, we need to make sure that we are navigating the waters appropriately, because authenticity does not mean being inappropriate. I want to be clear with that.
Yes.
But it does mean that we have to have assistance to go down and bring up all that talent, because that is what is going to take the corporation to the next level. Trust me, do the research on what women are doing today. The downside is that when we see a few of us on television, we get happy and it's okay, it's fine. It's not enough. We have to do more. And that's not to put men down, but it is for us to come together collectively so that we can build stronger families and dynasties for the next generation coming along. Absolutely. It's not to just break us apart and, you know, have us over here doing our thing and they're doing their thing. No, we want to come together. We want to build strong communities, strong homes, strong families, dynasties that eventually turn into corporations.
Absolutely.
And we've lost the thought of that, because trust me, Ford Motor Company didn't start out as Ford Motor Company, but we've convinced ourselves that don't matter no more. We've convinced ourselves that we don't need these family legacies and things for us to have the things that we desire to have. And so where the mindset growth is good. It's great. But there's just some core values that we have to keep. So that's the passion for the leadership. I want to see women soar, but I want to see them do it with, I call it, this is a tagline, I call it joy, ease, and flow. And when they can do
Go
that,
ahead.
joy, ease, and flow. So it's these retreats that help us to do that. And I'm with Dr. Madeline 100%. We have a retreat coming up in March in Dubai. And I had some folks say, oh my God, why Dubai? Everybody's going to Dubai. Well, my first answer was, well, I've been going to Dubai for 15 years now. So I was going to Dubai when nobody was going to Dubai. So don't ask me, go ask them that. I know why I'm going. I'm going because of the atmosphere. I'm going because of what I've learned of the culture. And I'm going because I see placing women in that culture, what it does for them when they come back, the empowerment that they feel, the empowerment that they are willing to step out and take a chance that they may not have been willing to do before they were in that environment. So environment is very important. The quietness, I love that, Dr. Madeline. Just being, not having someone, lock you in a room all day and wah, 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 wah. I could go to a conference for that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of conferences you can do to go to that. There's a laundry list, and we all love going to conferences because we get knowledge. But retreats are about self-development from the inside out. It's about the soul work. And this isn't about religion. This is about humanness. And it's about the humanness that we get back in touch with, where people don't want to talk to you anymore. Everybody's typing you a message. There's so many messages and emails. You ever pick up the phone and say, hey, can we just have a 2-minute conversation? Because we've spent an hour typing emails and messages back and forth. I just need to have a quick conversation.
Right.
So it's that human spirit that we are bringing back to women so that they come back refreshed. And it's not just Dubai, it's Aruba. We've got a lot of retreats because I just love getting women in a place where there's no judgment, where there's no you're wrong, there's no you shouldn't think that. We should think whatever it is that is in our heart. And then we work on cultivating and developing that so that it becomes the greatest strength that we have. Not telling us what you shouldn't think, we were taught that from children. You come out of your mother's womb. Don't touch that. Don't say that. Don't think that way. Don't say that. But this is about understanding the boundaries, but unlearning, even at our age, unlearning some of the things and replacing it with freedom, abundance, and the whisperings of our inner heart.
Wow. Absolutely. And it's amazing that you talk about that. Now, I've never been to Dubai, but everyone that has gone, as you say, when they come back, it's like the experience that they've had there. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go there. I need to go. I need to go and experience that. It is. And one of the things that I am wanting to do am starting to put together is what I call the 1 million women rise up. And that's because like you said, you just want to bring women together so that they know that they have that support. They know that there's a place they can go just to release and not, as you say, be locked in a room with people always telling them what to do. And so that is something that I am putting in the works now. And I don't know, maybe it'll be a movement or whatever you want to call it. But I just feel like women are the greatest resource on this planet. And we just need to make sure that they are well. We need to make sure that they're well. And there's not enough of us, not enough people doing that, making sure that women are well. And that's what I want to see. That's, like you say, from the heart. That is what I want them to be able to say when I say to you, how are you? And you say, I'm well, because you really are.
Well, yep. That's it. That's it. Because my biggest thing is coming against this mental health and all this depression and all of this identity crisis. And, no, what I want to do, my passion is, let me transfer this knowledge. Let me transfer this confidence, this defiant confidence that says, I am who I am unapologetically. I don't have to explain it to nobody. I didn't arrive for nobody. I am here to have a funky good time, no matter what things are going on. That's what inspires me. And you talked about passion and passion and passion, LuLu. It's your why must make you high. The reason why I say that is because a high is addictive. You have got to be so, when you are in proper alignment, you will show up for your assignment. The reason why people are suffering right now is because they don't know who they are, because they don't know whose they are. And then they are not willing to take the risk to walk in their true authenticity, because they're so worried about what are they going to think if I show up like this. And what we are here to do is unleash who you are. That's what we want to do. We have come to break the shackles off of your mindset. We have come to heal your heart, so that it is free again to love passionately, without regard of anyone ever showing back up to love them back. Because when you love yourself so much, you ain't worried about who is loving you back, because you don't love yourself so much. You know, at this point, it's all about loving someone else so that they can be free. And I always go to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Because at the fourth level is the breakthrough level. It's not about, they had self-actualization tied up with mastery and total control and all knowing and knowledgeable about it. That's a lie. Self-actualization is coming into the full, it's simple. It's coming into the full acceptance of who you are, recognizing that no one on this earth is perfect. And everyone has had an embarrassing moment. Everyone has had a bad hair day. Everyone has had a zit where they didn't want it to be. Everyone has to go to the bathroom, and the bathroom is funky afterwards. And they are cool with that. And they are going and living every day comfortable in their own skin, unapologetically. That's what self-actualization is all about. It is, I am me and I accept you for who you are. And Maslow also states that at that level of actualization, that it is so freeing that it compels, just like us to go back and get some more folks to cross over that line, that threshold and that breakthrough, to say, girl, you want to be free? Come, let me show you how to do this. That's what the retreats are all about. The retreats are all about, like, come on, bro. Come over here. We're going to break you free. And the key this time, the key in this season is, once we break you free, don't you dare go back to that old way. We want you so fired up. And that is a leader's passion. So that's a leader's heart. A real leader wants to bring up and raise up other people who know how to lead themselves. True leaders don't have to worry. We're not worried about followers.
That's right.
Worried about how many like. We're worried about, we want to make lasting change and impact and change that remains. That is our compelling heart. That is the heartbeat of a true leader. We want you to break free. We want you to tap into and unleash your unlimited potential, because when you do, you show up for all of us. You show up for all of us. And those who are genuine in heart are so excited because you finally arrived. I know for me, I get a joy out of seeing, I want to sit back. I get more pleasure sitting back watching somebody do their thing, and I get more pleasure watching other people hug each other. I get so much pleasure in seeing people love each other. That is my joy. You want to see me happy? It's seeing my people do your thing. Let me watch. Do your thing. Let me watch.
Wow.
Mm-mm-mm.
Absolutely.
So we got you. You got you in Virginia. And what's your date, Dr. Lewis?
For the retreat, it is April 21st through the 21st through the 23rd. So it's that, that weekend, and they will, like I said, just come bring nothing. You don't, especially not the phone. Leave the phone at home, because you don't want to be sitting there the whole weekend texting, answering texts, answering the phone. Leave your phone at home.
Yeah, be in the present. Be in the present. Be in the present, because you don't want to miss it. So here you go. So to me, these retreats are not, you don't just do one retreat. Sometimes you got to, depending on where your stress level is at, and depending on where you are, it's not going to be one retreat that just does it. You're going to have, it's just like going to the spa. It's just like getting your hands done, your manicure, your pedicure. You got to go routinely. So you want to go locally. So you go and you hang out in Virginia in April. You go, you hang out March in Dubai. And then you go and hang out with me here in the Dominican Republic. We are doing the Own It Anthology conference and retreat. And I'm super excited about that. You know my name, Marissa Bloedoorn. All you have to do is want to connect with me. You just put me in Google, connect with me. You can message me on Messenger and connect with me and find out more about what I'm doing with the Own It Anthology and Retreat here in the Dominican Republic. So we are international. We are national. We're international. And I want to just drop a bomb, because Dr. Lewis is not saying this, but I'm tapping on her because she is a TED Talks star. Okay. I don't know the last time I looked at it, but she has over 100,000. If she's not at 200,000 or a 250,000, she is moving up the ladder on YouTube in her with her TED Talk. So put Dr. Madeline and Lewis into YouTube. Go and subscribe to her channel, one. And then also watch her video, because she is looking for 1 million, right? You said 1 million, 10 million?
A million plus. That's
a million plus. We are doing a darn thing. So let us help her rise up, show up to rise up. Let us support her and what she's doing, and just connect. We are doing some incredible things. And let me tell you something, organizations, get ready, because we're coming for your executives. We want them to be fired up. We want them to be rejuvenated, refreshed, filled with confidence, and ready to show up for your companies in ways you never thought they would perform. And so get ready for us, because we're coming. We're coming for them, because we want them healthy, whole, and healed. And we want them to be healthy leaders in your organizations, and we want them to be leading healthy teams. We want you to increase on your performance. We want you to show up in the industry strong. That is our heart here on this platform. We've come to just empower your people so that they show up strong in all they do. And then to entice them to think career development. That means a clear path to wherever they want to accelerate in your company. You want that for them. And so, ladies, closing remarks. We are on the top of the hour. So closing remarks, Dr. Lewis, I'll let you go first.
Well, in closing, I would just say that to all the ladies out there, remember that you can't be all things to all people. So learn how to fill your cup first. So as Marissa talked about the retreats, Jacqueline talked about her retreat in Dubai. Those are things that you want to go to fill your cup first. And then you can look at helping others to fill their cups. But you always remember, you have to take care of you first. That's the only way you can take care of someone else. And keep in mind, ladies, Don't sit in the back of the room. Remember that comment? Learn how to toot your own horn.
Yep.
Toot your own horn. That's
Yes.
what I'll leave you with.
Yes. LuLu.
You know, at the end of the day, never be afraid of who you were created to be.
Mm-hmm.
Discover. Don't be afraid to discover. The deeper you go, the more you uncover. And the more you uncover, the more opportunity for your greatness, your genius, and your brilliance to shine and illuminate this world.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yes. And it's a continual thing. So, you know, just like Dr. Lewis said, you can't do it one time, because just think, when you drink from a cup, and you are the cup. When you drink from a cup, it gets empty. If you finish the cup, it gets empty. And guess what? In order for you to continue to drink, in order for you as the leader to continue to pour, you got to fill yourself back up over and over and over again. It's a continual process, because why? You need to maintain, it needs to be sustainable and maintainable. And that happens through, it's a process. It's a systematic cycle, and you got to keep refreshing and keep refreshing and keep refreshing. And that's what this is all about. It's not one, you know, you have one retreat and it's done. No, because you experience burnout over and over and over again. You know, you get stretched, and the stretching is so that you can continue to grow, but continue to feed yourself. That we are serving you. We are coming and we are pouring into you. We are giving you our all, because we believe in your success. We believe in your vision, and we want you to be on a constant mission to fulfill that vision. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we love you. This has been an hour of power, you know. And I love it when we're not rehearsed, that we're not looking at just answering questions, that we are free to have an open dialogue and conversation about what really matters. And again, February is the month of love, and we are talking all things of the heart. You guys have an amazing and incredible week. Enjoy your weekend. We are out. See you next week, ladies.